Greetings and salutations, folks. My name is Nick, and welcome back to Stray Gods, where I apologize for the mess. I've moved things around over here, and am still in the process of cleaning up. For now, though, Stray Gods, where are we at? Let's take a look at the journal. I didn't really sum up what was happening in the journal since last time. Freddy, of course, was waiting up when I got back to... Oh, let's skip to the characters who are more present in the plotline. So we met up with Persephone. We met up with Apollo. Apollo said he couldn't help us. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Calliope shows up, dead at our doorstep. Turns out she's a god. She dies, and her power, the power of the muse, enters... Grace, which enables her to create music around her. If she wants music to appear, it will appear. Athena says that in order, because it seems as though Grace killed Calliope, that Grace must die. But people seem to agree that that's not necessarily justice, especially instigated by Apollo. Apollo presented the idea that's not justice. He seemed to be the kind of the person who would be able to help us. But as the god of prophecy, he can only necessarily prophesize riddles. And even if he knew what would happen, there's essentially self-fulfilling prophecy. The entire idea that if he prophesized you would fall down a hole, you would eventually fall down a hole just out of your own avoidance of holes. Your own knowledge of your future would end up creating your future because you've become so focused on that being the thing. Though, actually, I would argue, depending on how unclear the future is presented, think about, like, in the Hitchhiker's Guide series of books. Arthur, what is that the name of the character? The main character, Arthur Dent? Somebody, at one point in the story, someone references something that hasn't happened yet. And Arthur surmises that he's essentially invincible because he still has to show up to that point. And as long as he doesn't reach that point in time, like, he's invincible. But he doesn't realize that the specific words that was given to him was actually, like, where he ended up going to. And then immediately after that, the planet he's on blew up. This book is, like, 30 years old. I apologize for the spoilers if you haven't read Book 5 of the Hitchhiker's Guide anthology. Trilogy, as it's known on the copy of the book I have. But anyway, so Apollo can't help us, really. But Apollo does help us a little bit. He takes us over to his oracle. His oracle guides us to Persephone, because Persephone owns the apartments that Calliope was staying at. We confront Persephone, who, during our confrontation, she does realize that maybe Calliope saw something in Grace. And that maybe Grace actually was given the eidolon that gave her abilities. Also, Pan was there, as well as Eros, the god of sex, who looks like he is dressed to go to a BDSM dungeon and not to a nightclub. But who are we to judge? I wear t-shirt jeans. I'm not a very exciting dresser. For now, though, we have completed Act 1. We're on to Act 2. We still need to prove our innocence. Persephone says she's going to get back to us on something. Let's talk to Freddy. She says she was worried. She stayed up all night.
You were worried about me? Aw.
Well, you're my best friend in the whole world, Grace. Plus, what would the band do?
Another set of auditions?
Right, the band. Where are Kaz and Brian, anyway?
I told them you were fine, which isn't a lie, because Technically, you are. Now tell me everything that happened.
Well,
Persephone runs a club called the Underworld. That's a little on the nose.
I wouldn't suggest saying that to her face.
And you ended up staying with her instead of Apollo? I don't know, Grace. She sounds a little volatile.
I don't know. Apollo came off as a little more volatile than Persephone. And, like, Persephone's just angry. Like, she doesn't necessarily seem volatile. She just seems angry. And maybe, like, depressed underneath the surface because of her situations. And I would say she's not so bad.
She's not so bad. At least with Persephone, you know exactly where you stand.
I guess. Wow, she just sounds so different from the myths about her. So what are your options? You need to go back to Persephone at some point?
I could go back to Apollo's as well. Make sure he's not sore about what happened.
Oh, and, there's this. Pan left a card, says, "Come by Olympus." I doubt he means the mountain in Greece.
I just spoke to him.
That name keeps coming up. The idols live there, or at least most of them do.
Sounds cool. Even if Pan is there.
Still not a fan?
You know how some people just
Not a
set your
Pan
teeth
fan?
on edge? That's Pan. I can't help it. But it doesn't matter. I said I'd help, and that's what I'll do. You can count on me, Grace.
Thanks, Freddie.
The muse! Oh, the embodiment of inspiration! Can you believe it?
Yeah, kinda.
Do I want to talk to Persephone, to Pan, to Apollo? Pan has been helpful the entire time, but he has his own agenda. Apollo, I would just be going there to see how he's doing. Persephone, let's go talk to Persephone. And then we'll see if we can regret our choices later.
Oh, back already, are you? It's just as well. I've asked around, called in some favors, just enough to get an idea of what all the idols are currently up to. Much as I'm loath to admit it, I'm back to thinking Pan may be our prime suspect after all.
Why Pan? I thought you'd rejected him as a suspect.
I did. It doesn't seem like his style. Pan has always preferred scheming over direct confrontation. But the thing is, how did he know about you so quickly? What does he hope to gain by sticking his nose in?
A favor or two, I guess.
But then
Half
what
the
would a
idols are
favor...
a favor or two. No, he's up to something else.
Like, what kind of favor would he get
Until I
from
know
the
what it
muse?
is, I can't discount the possibility that he's involved in all this.
You should know. Pan asked me to meet him at Olympus. I'm not sure why.
Oh, that's interesting. Did he happen to say what he wanted?
No. He probably wants to cash in his favor.
Huh. That's what he does. Collect favors and then use them to gather even more favors. To what end, I dare not guess.
Also, why is it that Persephone's ice cube in her glass, why is it so large? Does she need such a large ice cube? I suppose the advantage to a large ice cube per capita of alcohol is that the ice cube is not going to melt as quickly and thus water down the drink. There's at least that. So maybe that's why she has a giant ice cube in comparison to the liquid that's in the glass. All right, Pan. Should I not see him? He seems harmless. I would not discount Pan so easily. Maybe that's a motive.
Maybe that's what went wrong with Calliope. A favor she wouldn't repay.
Or something she'd discovered and refused to conceal. Now, that would be just like her. You should go ahead and see what Pan wants. It might be useful.
Just throw caution to the wind, huh?
Somehow you'll manage. I want to send you to a party, Grace, one Aphrodite is holding. She and Eros know Pan perhaps better than anyone. If you go, it'll give you a chance to find out what he's really up to.
Oh.
You know Aphrodite better than I do. Can't you talk to her?
She and I don't get along.
Like how you and Apollo don't get along?
Even more intensely than that. I once said some things about her husband. They were true, but unwelcome. Suffice it to say, if I showed up at Aphrodite's party, revealing Pan's secrets would be the last thing on her mind.
And in theory, if I'm to use my powers as a muse, it would pull out the mess, like what her heart feels, and what her heart feels is now focused on Persephone. Why a party?
Why a party? Couldn't I just go wherever she lives and ask her?
You could, but if you go to this party, she'll be grateful. She holds it from time to time and always asked Calliope to attend, but Calliope never would. You can put 2 and 2 together. A grateful Aphrodite might be willing to tell you what Pan is really up to.
I'll consider it.
One wild party with a goddess of love coming up.
It's less of a wild party and more of a somber affair.
You mean like a cocktail party?
More somber.
Apollo will likely be there.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's very
Expectations
somber.
of fun downgraded considerably. I'll let you know what I find.
All right, let's go talk to Apollo, see how he's doing. Hopefully he's picked up 1 or 2 of the garbage bags.
Grace,
Yeah, told you she'd be back.
what are you doing here? When you stayed with Persephone, I thought that... Well, I didn't expect to see you again.
I still like you. You're still cool.
I thought I'd check in on you. The way you left, well, it was quite the scene.
Ah, yes, that. I want to apologize for my outburst. Being around my family brings out the worst in me, I'm afraid. It's why I avoid them whenever possible, and why I should have resisted getting dragged into all this.
Apollo, everything you sang about still applies, even if you got angry.
I know.
We all make mistakes. You pick yourself up, and you try again for Calliope's sake.
I'll think about it, Grace. I promise. For now, you're in far better hands.
I'll hold you to that. Don't think I won't.
All right. We left Apollo on good terms. Let's go to Aphrodite's party, which is not going to be the wild, rambunctious affair that one might think the goddess of love might toss up. And Pan isn't going to Aphrodite's party because we're expecting to go there and not see Pan.
Fancy party? Check. Bunch of strangers? Check. Grace totally not dressed for the occasion? Check. Now, if only I knew what I was supposed to be doing here.
So she's only been a muse for like 2 or 3 days.
Here.
Also,
Yeah,
she's better dressed
invited,
than
aren't I?
Apollo.
I'm just surprised you even knew it was happening.
Persephone said I should come to this. Whatever this is.
Persephone didn't tell you? Why am I not surprised?
Persephone said Aphrodite could help me and that she'd be grateful I came. That's it.
Persephone's not wrong, but that's not the entire story. You don't have any of Calliope's memories, right? No déjà vu, recollections that aren't your own?
No.
Is that a thing?
Should I have?
Not right away. For a while, you won't remember anything.
Oh,
we
that's
call
a
it
thing.
the veil.
Maybe that's why.
In time, the veil will start to lift, slowly at first, but Eventually, you'll remember almost everything Calliope did.
Ooh. That's a problem. That is a problem. That, I think, is an explanation for why Hermes calls themselves Hermes. It's like a loss of individuality. Your mind, your personality is now being usurped into the previous whole. Like, Calliope has lived for thousands of years. She has thousands of years of memories. And in theory, if every Eidolon that gets passed along, so whatever muses came before her, those memories are just built up on a gigantic foundation of memories. And then there's you, who is... How old is Grace? If you had to guess how old is Grace, looking at her image on the screen right now, she graduated college. We know that. 20-somethings? 30-somethings at the latest? Even if you decided that she is one of the best-looking 80-year-olds on the planet, 80 years is a drop in the bucket compared to the foundation that is Calliope's memory. So, how is your personality, who you are, going to survive when absorbed into millennia of memories? Are you still going to be you? Are you going to be Calliope? Are you going to be Calliope with a little bit further definition?
Seems like the sort of thing you should tell a new idol.
New idols are usually chosen. You would know about this already, except
Calliope was murdered.
And then Calliope did
Remember how old
apologize
we
and
all
say that she didn't want to do
there are
it.
so many memories. So the veil lifts gradually to protect you. Eventually, it's like a flood. It becomes difficult to separate what's you and what's them, and all who came before them.
Will I become Calliope?
You're saying I won't be me. I won't be Grace. Will I start calling myself Calliope?
Maybe. Eventually, most of us do, but most of us were chosen and prepared.
And I didn't choose this.
I understand. Take some time to let it sink in. If you like, we can talk about it later.
What does this have to do with the party?
Aphrodite hasn't been the same since we came to the New World. She has horrific memories of what she endured during the war. Passing on her Eidolon is a way to forget, for a while. And that's what this party is for.
Aphrodite is going to die?
When you say she's gonna pass on her Eidolon, you mean...
She's going to die, yes, and pass her soul on to a chosen successor.
Which means I probably
of
won't
everyone?
want to talk to her
We're
first.
here to help, Grace. To make it easier for Aphrodite to do what she feels she must. We're here to say goodbye. At least for a while.
This isn't the first time Aphrodite's done this. She's held this kind of gathering before, right?
This is her fourth, I think, perhaps fifth.
So every time the veil, whatever you call it, when it starts to lift...
Aphrodite's memories return, and eventually it is too much. We gather to pay our respects and to honor the past. Well, she still remembers it.
This sounds like a slightly more morbid version of the movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. If you haven't seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, it is excellent. And it kind of has a similar theme to this. The entire idea of repeatedly forgetting something in order to make your life temporarily better.
Wait. Persephone said Calliope always refused to come to these parties.
She refused on principle. Everything Calliope did was on principle. She believed Aphrodite was indulging her sadness, wallowing in it. She thought Aphrodite should try harder. It was a point of contention between them. Aphrodite will be grateful you're here. Trust me.
Also, depending on how she's had like 4 or 5 of these parties. We don't know how far apart these parties are, but regardless of that, also Persephone. Who are we talking about? Aphrodite. Aphrodite's choice of killing herself in order to move her eidolon into another body essentially means that she has become a parasite for various people over the years, to the point in which, like, she realizes her memories will overtake her new host. Her eidolon's memories will overtake her new host's memories. And the life that person used to have is gone. She has taken it and absorbed it into her own, and then once those memories become too much, she finds a new host to take over. Aphrodite's just a parasite. I don't support this at all. She is murdering multiple people, essentially. Not just killing herself, but murdering the person who takes the eidolon, which is even worse depending on how short a period of time it is. Like they say, memories of the war. Now these characters might have lived for a very long time, and that war might be thousands of years ago. If that war was 100 of years ago, 4 to 5 different people, that is dramatically shortening those people's lives.
Do you support what Aphrodite is doing here?
It's not my choice to make, Grace.
Yeah, but you must have an opinion.
Eventually you will remember what we experienced during the war, and eventually you will remember that what Aphrodite experienced was far worse. If this is the mercy she requires, I will not tell her she should not take it.
I don't know, Apollo. I don't like the whole idea.
You want her help, don't you?
Yes, but...
At least speak with Aphrodite before you make a final decision. She's not here just yet. Until she arrives, I suggest mingling.
Oh, okay. Mingling. With who?
Yeah, mingling.
Oh, there's Eros.
Talk to Eros. Or we can talk more if you like. Just try to relax, Grace.
Sure, yeah. Relax. That's what this party is for, right?
All right. Also, is there sushi? If there is sushi, I will eat the sushi. Sushi is my favorite food group. Where is Eros in this image? Is he not in this image? Oh, yeah, he's right here. Eros! How are you doing?
Grace!
Hey, Eros. Nice to...
Giant hug.
Oh, okay.
Aphrodite will be so happy you're here. It means so much, you have no idea.
Apollo told me. Calliope always refused to come to these things, right?
Yeah, no matter how much Aphrodite begged. Every time she does this, I don't know how to handle it. I almost want to run upstairs and demand she stop. Remind her that this never works. Sorry, I shouldn't unload on you. It's been a bad week.
This is true. I don't want the god of sex to unload on me.
Hey, I understand. This can't be easy.
She's the one who is suffering. I shouldn't be complaining. I just hate this. I'm there every day, going through it all with her. The nightmares, the panic attacks, the weeks when she just won't get out of bed. I'm there when she forgets the war's over and I hold her. until the screaming stops. Me. I do that.
That sounds awful.
And now I'm arranging her gathering again, so she can die again. And I'll watch it all again.
Is it okay if I ask what happened? I don't mean to pry, but I'm new.
When
I
was
really
the
don't
war?
know.
Let me know when the
No,
war
it's
was.
okay. I wouldn't usually talk about it, but I know you don't mean any harm. What happened is that Brother Ares...
Okay, it was about a couple thousand years ago.
He missed out on the first world-spanning war, you see. So he was damned if he'd miss out
No.
on the next one. He found some jack-booted mortals, so full of themselves and their supremacy. And he told them about the idols.
Was it only 70 years?
Then they came for us. Took us completely by surprise. Some they killed, but Aphrodite, her they captured.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Aphrodite was captured, but she's here now. So she must have escaped.
Or she
She
died?
didn't. Do you know the name Hephaestus?
No. Should I?
God of smiths. He could make anything, any tool or weapon. He was Aphrodite's husband, and he adored her. When he found out the mortals were torturing her, he went mad. He was determined to save her.
Wait, they tortured her?
Nothing extreme, I'm told. They were too frightened, but they were also determined to wring every last secret out of her. So, who knows how long that fear would have lasted. Thus, Hephaestus made a deal.
With the, jackbooted guys.
No, with their enemies. That's what saved her.
Then this deal is how Aphrodite survived.
It's how we all survived. It's what brought us to the new world. Hephaestus saved us all. We never saw him again. That was the deal. He would leave, make their precious weapons, and never look back. Aphrodite never even got to say goodbye. It's funny, because Aphrodite didn't even like Hephaestus when they were married. She seemed to resent every minute they were together. But now he's all she can think about.
Is there no other way? Does Aphrodite really need to...
To die? I've asked that so many times. She's tried magic, drugs, psychotherapy, meditation, everything we could possibly think of. But for a while, she'll deny anything's wrong. It all seems fine, and I start to hope. Maybe this time will be different. Then the nightmares begin, and the memories return. More with each passing day until... I hate it, but I see her agony. I can't deny her this.
Maybe I just don't understand, but... Isn't this... like, suicide?
Some of the idols have committed suicide. They let themselves die without passing on their eidolon.
What happens?
What you'd expect. They're gone. Forever. Mother says she can't do that. She won't. Not until she sees Hephaestus again, I suspect. Not that what's happening here is anything casual. She still has to die. For a while.
You sound like you don't approve of what Aphrodite's doing.
What I want is for her to not hurt anymore. What I want is for this to end. She'll ask you to use your power as part of the celebration. Could you use it to inspire her?
I'll see what I can
I
do.
can't force anyone to do anything they don't want to, Eros.
That's not what I'm asking. I believe that deep down, she doesn't want to do this any longer. She must see it isn't working. She just needs the strength to try. Or I hope that's all she needs.
Because the issue that she has is her solution is a catch-22. Her solution solves the problem, but leads back to the problem itself.
I'll try, if you think it'll do some good.
I don't know if it will. I just find it hard to believe it could get any worse.
When you're repeatedly killing yourself in order to temporarily forget your
Tell me
pain,
about it.
which also is killing
whatever
other
you think
people
is
in the
right,
process, like
And-
anything else is probably a step up,
Thank you.
I think. Let's talk to Apollo. Apollo, or Paul, as Oracle calls you. You got anything for me?
I know all these people, Grace. For as long as I can remember, I've known them. Yet sometimes I feel like I don't know any of them at all. Or they me.
You don't enjoy these family gatherings, do you?
Are they family gatherings? Like the sort mortals have?
Yeah.
Call each other sister and brother and mother.
Well, yes, but
And you've been together like 100 times longer than I lived with my family. All you're missing is a drunk uncle everyone has to apologize for.
that would be Pan. But yes, I feel very much out of place.
Why is that exactly? Wouldn't you feel more like you belonged after 1,000 years together?
Is your assumption that all those centuries bring great wisdom?
Don't they?
We get older. We have more to forget. We hold grudges longer, but wiser. No. Not so far.
I spoke to Eros. He's pretty broken up over all this.
Oh, poor Eros. Each new successor, his hopes rise up once more. And then he watches the new Aphrodite crumble. Piece by piece. Only to start all over again. It's so different from the olden days. Once he was the eternal disaster, and Aphrodite kept constant vigil over him.
Maybe he feels like he owes her.
I think he's followed her into a dark void, and somewhere, deep down, believes he deserves no better.
I should get back out there.
All right, let's wait for Aphrodite. See what kind of information we could get out of her before she loses all of her memories.
My family. Having you all here, gathered once again to see me off, it moves me. More than I can say. My loves, my darlings, my dearest friends. And you. Oh, my dear sweet thing. I dare not hope that you, with all your troubles, might sing me to my sleep. Yet here you are. Yet here she is. Huh.
Let's see, could have invited. Can we talk in private?
It's lovely to meet you, Aphrodite. Properly, this time.
Ah, yes. Poor Calliope. Such a loss to us all. I shall miss her dearly. To have come so far, only... No, it doesn't bear thinking about. It's too much.
Is this Grace, my lady? The new muse?
Oh! What manners I have! Grace, Grace! Meet the lovely mortal woman who shall tonight become the new me.
Hi, my name's Venus, and yes, it really is Venus. Nice to meet you, Grace.
Let's carry on the illusion that we're okay with this, and then in the song, like, we don't want to push away Aphrodite this quickly.
Yeah, hi. Nice to meet you.
We'll both be new at this, huh? Maybe we could get together and compare notes if you,
Survive my trial?
Yeah. Lady Aphrodite told me. I shouldn't have brought that up. I'm sorry.
There will be so much time for you lovelies to speak later. Now, we must prepare for my departure.
Also, I just had a sudden realization, is that, like, in theory, if nobody can usurp an idol, like, they don't need to just kill me. They could just get a replacement person, kill me, and then have that eidolon transport itself into that mortal. That way, Calliope still survives. It's just myself that dies. But then again, like, if Calliope's memories are going to usurp my memories, like, what is the motive there anymore? Like, if I'm no longer going to be myself because I have absorbed that god's eidolon, because my memories have been more or less taken over by the god's memories, like, what is there to gain for a mortal to kill an eidolon? Like, nobody could... if you gain all of the power in the world, but you lose your soul in the process... I'm sure that's a Bible quote. Matthew something or other. Blame Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
I just want to say, I'm really sorry that this happened to you, that you need to do this.
A babe in our dreary world, and yet already possessed of such earnest purpose.
Weren't you opposed to this, Grace?
Apollo! Oh, you've come after all.
You look remarkably well, cousin.
I had a great deal of time to prepare. I assure you that would not be the case.
Apollo,
As for you, Grace,
we're being
have you
secretive.
gathered the true purpose of tonight's gathering?
We're deceptive.
To ease your suffering? To forget about what happened?
An escape into the soothing blackness. To swim in Lethean waters, at least for a time.
Does it help?
I don't know. Each Aphrodite before me begged for mercy. This is all I can do for all of us. Even so, tonight is not about the pain. It is about honoring the memory of what was while that memory still persists. Go, enjoy the gathering, Grace. Tell me when you're ready to begin.
I worry about Venus. She seems far too young and far too innocent to have her own mind usurped by a god. Shall we talk to Apollo? Apollo, there's a plan.
I should get back out there.
Talk to Venus. Venus, are you sure about this?
I want to apologize again, Grace. I really messed up. It looks like I'll be doing that a lot. Lady Aphrodite said I'm ready, but I don't know.
Having second thoughts? If so, now's probably the time to mention it.
I would never do that to Lady Aphrodite. I'm just nervous.
That's understandable.
If I can ask, what does it feel like after it happens? Do you feel different?
It's been like one day.
I'm not sure. It happened so fast I didn't know what to think. Calliope died and then all this happened.
You didn't remember anything? About her? Who she was? She was just gone?
You know,
Yeah. Isn't that the point of all this?
I just wanted to be sure. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it could be real.
In theory, if you eventually remember everything Calliope remembers, then you will remember who her killer was. The mystery will be solved if given enough time. If you just stayed at home and did nothing for long enough, the mystery in this game would solve itself. The artificial timeline being presented to you by Aphrodite would essentially cut off the veil. Like, if they just imprisoned you and made sure everybody who visited you had earplugs, I don't know. If that would avoid her power over music, and just kept her fed, like imprisoned you in like a nice swanky hotel room type thing, had like a bath, bed, HBO. Like, given enough time, Calliope would reemerge and you would know who the killer was. The mystery would be solved.
How do you know Aphrodite exactly?
So I was working at this homeless shelter, right? A couple of years ago, and she came in with one of the older residents. And she was there in this, like, amazing dress. And she's sitting with this guy and really listening to him. Like, they were old friends or something. I just thought, what is someone like her doing in a place like this? So, I just went over and introduced myself.
That's it? Just like that.
Yeah. She came back to the shelter a few times, but by then, I guess she'd taken an interest in me instead.
There's a quote I'm trying to remember the exact source of, but I cannot think of it at the time, so triple bonus points if you can identify the quote. What is a place like you doing in a girl like this?
Your name's really Venus, huh?
Everybody asks me that. Even the other idols. Maybe that's why Lady Aphrodite noticed me in the first place. She says it was fated to be. I say it's because my mama was a diehard hippie.
Are you really okay with all this? You know what's gonna happen, right?
I saw a lot of people in crisis at the shelter. I knew something was wrong with Lady Aphrodite. She's in so much pain, Grace. She won't let you see how much. Errol's called me one night desperate. She wouldn't stop screaming. She didn't know where she was. She's a good person, Grace. A good soul. She deserves mercy.
But don't you feel this is wrong? I mean, you're ending your life. It's like some kind of murder-suicide pact.
I don't think of it like that. Lady Aphrodite is not committing suicide, and I'm not being murdered.
You're right about
Aren't
the first
you?
part, wrong about
Your
the
life
second
is
part.
ending. It's being taken over, swallowed up by Aphrodite's grief.
And then she'll kill herself
I'm
again.
becoming part of something bigger. Something amazing. Or maybe you're right. It'll be terrible. And I'll end up in so much pain I'll regret it.
And then you'll kill
so
yourself.
why go through with it?
Because Lady Aphrodite needs me. Maybe, just maybe, if I'm added into the mix of all the people she's been, maybe things will be different.
Excuse me, Venus. Do you know the definition of insanity? Let's begin the ritual.
I have tried so hard, fought for so long,
But in the
but
end,
in the end,
it didn't even matter.
I must bid you all farewell once again. But before I go, I would like us all to remember the sacrifices that brought us here, to this strange new world. This time, it is with the help of our lovely muse that we shall be guided. We let them rise. We let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong. We were wrong. Since the beginning we were hidden. We held court from up above. 'Twas the golden age of reason, and I the queen of love. But a plague of hate was spreading, and there were vultures standing by. Before we fell to our knees begging, we fell from the sky. We let them rise, we let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong. We were wrong. We had revelry and rebirth, a family all together, till 13 million marching men cut us down forever. But Brother Ares made it happen, joined their war without dispute. Now the once mighty immortals are just mud under a boot. We let them take our loved ones, it's what they wanted all along. We thought they were beneath us, we were wrong, we were wrong. I can feel we have the vigor of an idol coming in. Be wary as they find you to tear your limb from limb, torture you and spit at you, parade you in a square. I thought my life was over, then a God answered my prayer. The man that I ignored saved me when I fell. Yes, the husband I abhorred rescued me from hell. I thought it was a joke when it was said to me, he struck a deal with our enemy's enemy, made a secret weapon so my captors let me go. He gave up his freedom, leaving just a memory, and this love I'll never know is what he gave to me.
I gotta say that I'm amazed I held my tongue for so long. Not such a fan of this old plan, but who's to say that you're wrong? Now shoulda gotta erase a memory when there's no chance of changing history. This guy that sacrificed his life so you can live in his place, wish he'd drop by, cause man, I'd die to see the look on his face. You try to hide from your reality, but then come back with regularity. And if you notice a disparity, then what's the meaning of his legacy? Everybody. Who gives a damn about your suffering? Everybody. Who wants to see you be yourself again? Everybody. Who feels your pain in case you're wondering? Everybody. You got the time, but it's the stuttering. Everybody wants to see you fall in love.
I can't place your face, so let me give you a hand. An idol should embrace the things they don't understand. And you don't get it. My mind's a falling city, buildings crumbling down. What is more, the pity, all I hear is the sound. Bombs blanketing the ground, a screaming so profound. And you want to play around. Well, you offend. Everybody is insulted by your acrimony. Everybody wants to wallow in my testimony. Everybody. So who is ready for the ceremony? Everybody. I'll be siding with the everybody.
Everybody wants to see you fall in love. I never thought you'd
let it get this way. I've stood by watching what we've built decay. We're just pretending that the ending is near. Mother, isn't it clear? Your family's here. Everybody can see the agony you're going through. Everybody knows the goddess is inside of you. Everybody keeps repeating what they're meant to do. Everybody, I've got to stop it just to prove to you. Everybody wants to see you fall in love.
Everybody, who's gonna help me overcome the war? Everybody, who's gonna be there when I'm on the floor? Everybody, who's gonna cry when I walk out the door? Everybody, 'cause I'm not gonna do this anymore. Everybody wants to see you, wants to see you fall in love again.
That was awesome. I wasn't really too into Arrow's singing voice right away, but it grew on me. But like that whole song, especially going the red route,
Is it true?
like that was just
You've chosen to.
that was amazing. I love it.
I have chosen to live.
Like before, Lost Girls was my favorite, but this.
I'm so sorry. for this.
Italian
I made you
Fingers.
so many promises, dearest, and I won't be able to keep them.
My lady, all I ever wanted was for you to be happy. If this is your wish, I'll be with you at every step.
I as well. Always.
I hope none of us regret this choice in the days to come. But thank you.
This is the only way you'll get through it. Together, as a family.
I don't think Aphrodite killed Calliope, though.
If there's any chance, Mother, any at all, this is it.
I know, my loves. I hope you're right. Now then, Grace. Apollo tells me you needed my help. No doubt regarding Calliope's death. Have you any suspicions as to who might be responsible?
Not really, no. You're the first person I've asked. I'm told you know everyone.
Everyone. Now that's an exaggeration.
Who's that guy over there?
Everyone, Mother.
Oh, that's
You're
Jim.
always in their business.
That didn't sound entirely like a compliment, my love. Besides, I'm not the only one who's always in everyone's business, am I?
You're thinking of Medusa, aren't you?
Okay, I'll bite. Why would this Medusa be involved? And why isn't she a suspect?
Mother has always distrusted Medusa.
She works for Athena as a watcher. She's everywhere, lurking in the shadows. If you
So
look
Medusa,
anywhere, Grace, start with her.
she might know
Come
something.
now, Mother. It's time you rested. It's been a long night.
If
I
didn't,
learned
suppose you both
absolutely
gave up on
nothing
me
about
again.
Pan.
Very well.
You could say that coming to this party to learn more about the Goatman has not... Going to this party to learn more about the
So,
Goatman
Did they have anything helpful?
has not panned out.
Maybe? What do you know about Medusa?
Medusa? That's a rather dark name to unearth. Are you thinking of seeking her out?
If you are thinking of seeking her out, don't.
I am. Do you know where she is?
Not really, no. Medusa makes it her business to stay out of sight. Athena employs her as a spy master, a hound to do her bidding, a vicious hound at that. Athena's not likely to tell either of us where to find Medusa. I can't say for certain who would know.
Oracle?
Are you all right, Grace? You seem troubled.
What you said earlier about Calliope's memories coming back.
That wasn't how I wanted you to find out. I'm sorry. If I might suggest, speak with Persephone about it when you get a chance. It might be good for you.
You think she could help? Persephone?
Persephone and I have our problems, but I can't deny she is insightful. She'll surprise you.
I might do that. Thanks.
How are things with Persephone? Is she helping as much as you thought?
I'm here. I do like Persephone, actually.
Yeah, I kind of like her. Way more than I thought I would. Why?
All I mean to ask is, has she said anything?
About...
No. Never mind. It's none of my business. Please forget I asked. Give my regards to Persephone when you see her.
Very well, surfer boy. Oh, are we going straight to Persephone? Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Always so dramatic. And well done.
And I get a drink, too.
You may be the very first person ever to talk sense into Aphrodite.
And that's the thing, like, Calliope never showed up to those parties on principle, but in theory, if she did go to the party, she could have changed something.
Still don't know if I did the right thing.
Well, it was never up to you, Grace. The choice has always been Aphrodite.
That's true. She can't make someone do something she doesn't want to do.
Now. Whether she uses it...
So, in her heart, she didn't want to do it.
I remember the last time I passed on my Eidolon. 1952. I was married to, well, say you'd call him a gangster. More of a thug. A mean, vicious little thug. Persephone saved me from him. Tore his head clean off. But not before he fired a shotgun into her chest. My chest? Whatever.
Do you remember who you were before?
I still am her. Chastity, that is. You can see why I switched names. I remember being disgusted I was ever that weak. Persephone made me strong. But it never really goes away. We all have our sordid history, our personal horrors, building up like sediment around our souls. You can't let it bury you, Grace. You are the only one who can keep your head afloat.
You're incredible. You know that?
There's no need to be facetious, Grace.
No, really.
I am incredible. It's true. It's good that you recognize this.
Okay, I take it back.
Oh, you can't take it back, Grace. I would have thought you'd learned that by now.
Oh? Hold on. Are we getting a duet?
After centuries of cruel injustice, everybody working against me, every idol but for one, violent with apathy. We couldn't reach a resolution, but you and I, I'm queen of the underworld, and you, Grace, something seems familiar about you. Have we met some lifetime ago? Gods like me don't have too much to hope for.
Or are we getting a solo?
The rules been fixed throughout the ages, so I have forged a daring path.
like to make some changes. You see, we can win a revolution, you and I, you and I. I'm queen of the underworld, and you, Grace,
Your lost little girl. The first time we met, you called me that. And now I understand. Show it or not, I see your heart. You've got one big mouth on you, don't you? Yet it's me who's closing in. Think I like that mouth on you, won't you?
You've overstayed your welcome.
We
Time
have
to go home.
this romance option has not
Get
fully
outta here,
played out.
Grace.
Oh, it's already day 4 out of 10. Alright, we're going to stop here for the night. Got any suggestions for someone to play next? Leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourselves a good night.